Salutation statistic supporters. This is a Stats MR returning with another presentation to sleep through. Today I will be discussing the NBA lottery and some statistics related to how lucky different teams are. The first part of the video will discuss how lucky teams are with their lottery picks. In other words, where the pick happens. For example, if a team finishes with the third worst record, if they have even luck, then they should receive the third pick in the lottery. If they have good luck, then they would pick, first or second rather than third. If they have bad luck, then they would pick fourth or later. So that will be the first part. Which teams have picked before their record would suggest they should get, or their lottery chances suggest they would get, and which teams have picked later than what their lottery chances suggested they would get. It'll also look into the number of lottery, times teams have been in the lottery. The second part of the video will go into the number of all-star selections each team has received in the lottery. Now, it's important that this will be restricted to only lottery selections, which currently only picks 1 through 14 are part of the lottery. 15 and higher are not. So, for example, Giannis with the Milwaukee Bucks, he was selected with pick 15, so he wasn't a lottery pick, so he wouldn't be included in this analysis. So, those are the two parts of the video, and let's get into the data. Okay, so we'll start with the raw data. So, and I'll leave a link in the description to basketballrealgm.com or basketball.realgm.com. So, statistics are the draft year. So, it goes from 2023 to 2000. Looks at the pick, the team's record, the odds, chances, the pre-lottery standing, the pick change, player taken, and then the draft team. Now, the 2023 draft hasn't happened yet, so that's why it's blank for player taken. And the draft team, sometimes there are trades on draft day, so even though a team might have a pick, they might trade it away and to a different team, and that other team might do the drafting. So, and the pick change. So, San Antonio had the third worst record in the league. So if they had had even luck, they would have had the third pick in the draft. However, they had good luck, and instead of having the third pick, they had the first pick. So they had a +2 on the pick change. On the other hand, the Pistons had the most chance of, if they had had even luck, they should have had the first pick. However, they had really bad luck, so instead they have the 5th pick. So that was a -4 pick change, so they were unlucky in the draft. So that's the first part of the analysis. The second part of the analysis goes into the number of all-star selections. Now, the all-star appearances. I'm not counting the Rising Stars competition that, is rookies and second-year players. I'm not counting slam dunk contest, three-point contest, or replacement selections. It's only, they were actually good enough to be selected by the coach or the fans. So, so it's a little bit different in counting the appearances. So then I have the number of appearances, and then the years that they were selected. So if we keep scrolling down, okay, yeah, so Tyrese Halliburton for the Kings was selected in 2023 to the All-Star game. So, alright, so let's go to the lottery luck pivot. Okay, so this sums up the pick change. So, and it also has the number of times they were in the lottery, and then I divide the sum of the pick changes by the number of times in the lottery to have the average pick change. As you can tell, luck is smiling on Los Angeles. The Lakers have an average pick change of 1.125, and the Clippers have an average pick change of 1.07. I also combined, so franchises that moved or changed their name, like Vancouver moved to Memphis and Brooklyn, or New Jersey moved to Brooklyn, or, they had a name change like New Orleans. The Hornets changed their name to the Pelicans. I combined those under one single row because they were the same franchise. Same thing with the Bobcats. Bobcats changed their name back to the Hornets. So as you can see, LA was very lucky. And so Boston, luck has not been smiling on Boston. Average negative pick change at negative 0.8. Detroit and Golden State and the Knicks have not been, nor the Mavericks have been very lucky in the draft either. Negative. And for even luck, Milwaukee's even luck with the Wizards pretty close. Yeah, Wizards in Chicago. Now the average pick change was not 0.01. Standard deviation was 0.5. The upper outlier threshold was 1.27. The negative outlier threshold was negative 1.24, so no team qualified as an outlier for being lucky, but, it is interesting where, what teams have been lucky in the draft. If you look at the Spurs have been fairly lucky too, 0.5, which again was helped by this year. So, the LA teams, and then Boston down here. And then if we're looking at the number of times in the lottery, you see the Spurs have been in the fewest times at 4. The Celtics are next at 5. And then if you scroll down, Bobcats have been in 17, or the Charlotte Hornets, I'm sorry. And the Knicks, the Kings have been in the most. See, the average is 11, so Grizzlies, Raptors, the Thunder have been in average. No team qualified as an outlier, like say even the Charlotte teams, did not quite reach outlier status. So. Okay, now we'll go into the player results table. Okay, so now we'll go into the player results pivot. So, what this does, this sums up the all-star appearance number of times they're in the lottery and divides the two. So, this is how many all-star appearances, have been drafted in the lottery, and the average all-star appearances per lottery pick. As you can see, the Oklahoma Thunder, combination of Seattle Supersonics and Oklahoma Thunder lead the way at 32. Cavaliers are close, and then you get into the New Orleans teams, Raptors now. again, one player can definitely help. So the Oklahoma Thunder, that's definitely helped by Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, that's helped by LeBron James. So, and then you see a number of times in the lottery and the average. So actually the Oklahoma Thunder are outliers in both the number of All-Star appearances and the All-Star appearances per lottery pick. So you see the average All-Star appearances was 9.46. Standard deviation was 7.855. The upper outlier threshold was 29. So Cavaliers were almost at the outlier threshold, but not quite. 2.9 is not 2.91. So I guess no team really qualified for the outlier for the All-Star appearances per lottery pick. Like I say, the Thunder were just a shade under. But yeah, so if we want to see who really has, and again, this only goes back to 2000, so people might say, well, hey, San Antonio had Tim Duncan. Well, Tim Duncan was drafted in the 90s, so he doesn't factor in. And I was surprised Milwaukee was at 0, so I looked at Giannis. Giannis was selected with pick number 15, which is one pick after the lottery. So since he wasn't a lottery pick, he's not included in the analysis. So she has Milwaukee, San Antonio are 0, and then the Knicks. That's actually really bad. Like I say, to have 16 times to go to the lottery and you only have one All-Star appearance, that's not good. So, scrolling, I see you get the zeros with the San Antonio, Milwaukee, and the New York area. Not having a lot of luck with their picks in the lottery. So that's appearances. And then we look at All-Star appearances per lottery pick, graphed it out. So, see, Miami is doing really well. And again, Miami has made the NBA Finals multiple times in the last 20 years. Boston also 2.6. Cleveland, again, Cleveland's, with LeBron, that's a high number. If we want to get down, let's see, you have zeros, low values for New York area. So, anyway, that will do it for insight into which teams are, one, lucky in what pick they receive, and then two, which teams do well in when they are in the lottery, which teams do well in their drafting. Anyways, this is a Stats MR, hoping that your efforts have a positive correlation with results. So long.